Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome to session 16, Creating and Maintaining High Performance, or what we call HP, High Performance Organizations. Another word for high performance organization would be learning organizations, which we'll be covering in here. So this last section, and this is, you're either taking me online class, you're taking me a face-to-face class, or you're taking me as a hybrid class or one of my workshops. And this is from a human relations perspective, from HR perspective. How do I hire the right individuals? How do I make sure I have the right policies? How do I make sure that the companies go in the right direction? That not only that we function, but we are a high-performing organization. The only way a high-performing organization is achieved is through your most expensive capital, your workers. So HR has a real big stake in making sure that they're hiring, and they're making sure that we have the right culture in place, that we're always constantly learning, since we're working in what do you call it, heavily flexible environment, or what we would call an organic company that adjusts us nicely to whatever external forces and internal forces affect the organization. We still learn and we go forward. Okay, so let me go into this. Let's get everything ready. I have everything else. You already have been exposed. You already have my concept maps and the reading material that's supplied to you. So let's just go real quickly. I've got a pretty large picture. So when I look at high performance, I'm using HP, not HP printer, but HP high performance work system. That's all tied in. I want to have a high performance work system, but I have to understand that I operate in different countries. I'm a global operation. Maybe I'm operating even in a smaller local environment, but I have to make sure I don't violate any laws, any discrimination laws, treat everyone fairly, equally. That's all tied in, but how do I get those high-performance individuals? How do I achieve this? It's worked through certain work systems. So let's go in here. I need the right combination. Let me make this just a bit larger. I've been getting some comments from individuals that says, Dr. George, could you make it a little bit bigger? Sure. Bigger, better. This way I don't even have to use my glasses. Okay, the right combination of people. That's HR's thing. I got to have the right mixture. I can have a lot of people just to fill in bodies because I get them inexpensive. I get them at a low cost. I get what I paid for. Technology. Whether I'm a small business, a medium business, or a large business, technology makes my job better, gives me more time, makes it more... look, I teach finance. You can have individuals typing in, working all kind of finance, all kind of problems, doing all the annuities by hand. It's so much easier. Just put in two numbers. Once the system is set up and I got the right program and I lock it out, boom, I had the answer right away. We live with technology. Technology and individuals. So when HR is hiring, I'm hiring a person who's got the skill set, but also who has the ability to utilize technology to this benefit. I need both of them, not just one by itself. Technology by itself does not work well. Try getting calling in. You got an issue and you got a voice machine telling, hey, could you do this? Dial this number. It frustrates. We want to talk to a real live person. Full use organizational resources between this, look at economics, the combination, technology, how I structure it. The ultimate goal for a company, for HR, to make sure that I'm using, not burning them out, but using them to their full potential. Use the opportunities in achieving the goals and function as a high-performance work system. I mean, if you look at companies that are successful or athletes successful, they have the drive, they know their goals, they have the tools, everything. You can't be successful. You don't want to spend the money on the tools, and you're doing people doing cost estimates by hand, where a system will do it in a few minutes. I could utilize that time by using technology, utilize that time for areas that technology may not be as beneficial, like talking to individuals. I use technology through the face, through the communication, to communicate. But if I have Skype or FaceTime, it's a better communication. I could see you, even here, if I have you here in the corner, I can see your face, and we're communicating. Maybe not face-to-face, but we're using technology to its full benefit. Okay, now elements of a what do you call it, of a high-performance system must fit well with other systems. Remember, you can't just have a standalone system. All systems have to be integrated somehow, so we get data or information from one to the other. Otherwise, don't put that thing in there just because I got a system working and it doesn't give me any value or the individual's looking at it. So groups of people, it's useful to divisions, departments, just have to add to the dictionary, and reporting relationship. That's what this organizational structure, technology, task design. Details of organization activities to be grouped determines how well how well it does into job responsibilities. I gotta look at this. When I do my concept map, just for you to understand, I usually just take I don't write full sentences. I do more of the concept maps here for the students because you're not used to it. Remember, I read the material, I research the material, I know the material. The concept maps are just triggers. Like, here's where I find this file under this college, underneath this program or this course or this section there. That's all the concepts, like triggers. Triggers, so I have it in here to pull it out of my long-term memory. Okay? So we have that. So I got to design, task design, people selection and training. This is the most important. I need individuals who both are technical savvy, and most of my younger generation understand the technology. Maybe not the technology I need them for, but they're not intimidated with technology. Oh, it's something new. I didn't know. Look at me. I try to find other technology. I'm not an IT person. I'm a plug-and-play guy. But I like the software. I can see a benefit, and that's what you have to look. What benefit could technology do? And if I got the technology, could my workforce learn it? Not the old pen and paper. Do they already have the technological ability? They know how to log in. They understand how most software application got the help. How to minimize it, what I do to find it. All those are individual skills that should be incorporated when I'm hiring the individual, or develop them for the individuals that are with me. Then I'm looking at the systems. How do I train the individuals? You got the experience, but they need the technology. If I got them both together, I have a stronger, more productive, high-performing organization. Okay, and then the reward. Contribute high performance. Like it or not, why should I bust my butt, for lack of better words, if there's nothing in for it? Sure, I like the company to succeed. Sure, but the company's succeeding. I see the top management getting money. Companies doing well. They're employing me. Some of that should filter back. What kind of bonuses do I get if I'm above and beyond what's required to do? Different issue. I have certain goals that I'm required to do and I'm getting paid for whatever the salary is, but what do I do above and beyond? And that above and beyond is what's going to strive. When I look at an athlete, a lot of the Olympians, if I look at them, they all are good runners. They could outrun me, but they want to be that number one. What strives them is that goal, that recognition. Not only do they win for self-motivation, they get all the endorsements, and it makes their life a little bit easier down the road. Okay? So there's a reward system. Both short-term and long-term. Information system. When I was in a corporation, a lot of times I was working with executive information system. It should be that everyone in the system should know what the other one is doing, seeing the goals. Are we achieving it? Maybe I could help the other person. Maybe I could give some idea. If you're taking this class at a college level, you have a course management system. Most of you maybe use a Blackboard. You know every day what your grade is, where it is, as long as the instructor is putting that in. Some of the stuff is software generated. It gives you the grade right away. Excuse me. If you take some exams, you know right away what the grade is. So information system, all of these systems basically to meet organizational goals and helps me perform. How do I know, as an HR, which individuals are struggling? It could be because of cultural difference. They may not understand the language. It could be because they don't have the technological ability. Doesn't mean they can't be trained. They're just weak in that area, so I need some training in that, or I have to bring it in. So all that is technology people. Everything you're looking at as a for lack of better, as an orchestra. The music has to come in, and the person that's coming in, the director of the music, he or she, everything has to flow in. Same thing as the machinery, assembly line, everything flows in. Sales, services, everything the customer is supposed to be seamless. It's supposed to be the next step is just so predictable. You're going to have something unpredictable, but a lot of it, your system should be in there that's measuring the right information because I have the right person. Now, outcome, okay, what happens when I have a good system that everyone knows the scorecard, for lack of better words. Everyone knows where, how much they contribute, how much does it change. Just like if I'm doing an exercising and I have to lose so many calories. So they tell me every step is so much calories. So if I do 500 steps, I burn off 1 calorie. One Twinkie is 500 calories. That means I got to take a lot of steps. So at least I know the cause and effect, or which areas, if I want to definitely lose weight or be in shape, what areas could I do? Where could I cheat a little bit? And I don't want to use the word cheat. Where could I be a little bit more laxer? In business, you want to use cheat. You have the auditor at you. Where could I be a little bit more lax at? Which areas need more improvement? Okay? I don't want to be having training for areas that are already 99% effective. And I got another area that's 20 or the 60s. I focus on the 60s. Then as a whole collective, we're doing better. Okay, so I get higher performance, contribute to higher profits. That means higher profits. If I got profit sharing, we share. Higher product quality, more customers are coming into me. Greater customer satisfaction because they're getting a better quality product for a comparable cost. Low employee turnover because I have an input and you give me the tools where my competitors, maybe they pay me $1 more, but I'm doing everything the old-fashioned way, without technology. Hey, it's just less stress. I have a little more time. I enjoy that. Satisfied workers. If I'm satisfied, I'm not looking for another job. I'm usually, or if I'm looking for a promotion, it's within the organization. Higher sales brings me back to higher profits. Greater productivity, that means I utilize my resources, technology, my cost technology, my workers, everyone, not to burn them out, not to overload them. Because I could drive my car 1,000 miles an hour. How long is it going to last? If I drive it as the recommended speed, I think it's 55 to 65, it'll last me longer than if I'm doing 1,000, let's say about 150 miles. I don't know where, unless you're in the Autobahn in Germany, miles an hour, okay? Greater productivity, lower costs, innovation, new ideas. How do I do things better? And that's the whole thing about HR. I bring people who are creative, out of the box thinker. And how do I bring it into a person who thinks status quo? I have to have that mixture, not to burn one over. I don't want too much innovation. And I got all these ideas, but nothing comes to fruit. So I have to have that right balance. Okay, and then knowledge sharing. Biggest thing, how do I share? I try to do, if some of you are in my online classes or even my face-to-face or hybrid, or my workshops, I try to say network. You meet the person, here's the email, send the emails out to everyone else, network. And now I'm sharing now. I'm not getting it back, but hey, somebody else will say, hey George, I know you're working this project and I'm doing here, but somebody's selling me this stuff, or I saw this could help you, or George or Sally. It doesn't make a difference. Ladies, don't only network with men, network with men. With ladies, also network with men. Same with men, also network with women. You have to have the balance. We all are creative our own way. And then flexible workforce, that's the biggest one. I have to have some flexibility. Condition for this to work, employees receive formal performance feedback. I have to let them know where they're at. Not once a year, maybe every quarter, saying, here's where our goals are. But if you have an information system, or what they call a scorecard, then an employee says, okay, here's my raise, I've got this bonus, how close am I to the goal, how close is the department to the goal, how close to the company to the goal, maybe I got some ideas to help other departments, even though I'm not working for them. That's innovation, that's sharing knowledge. Teams perform the work, employees participate in the selection. And that's the biggest one. A lot of times when I'm looking, I hire them in because they're doing entry-level jobs. As I start doing teamwork, as I'm bringing in these cross-functional teams, I may have a selection of individuals and say, which ones do you think will fit? I could work with him. I can't work with George. I could work with her. I can't work with her. And, even though management still has, and HR still has the control, it's kind of nice. Or there may be someone that missed the radar. I didn't pick them up. She's got the skill set. She didn't put it in yet because she's not one. She's all, for whatever reason, she wasn't on there because we missed it because technology, someone didn't update her profile, for lack of better words. And to employees, reward and compensation to financial performance, equipment, and work processes are structured. Even though I have a hybrid, I have to have some structure to know, so everyone knows where is the next process, where are my boundaries, how much should I know? Can I contain that knowledge within that information, but how do I share that knowledge? And technology, for lack of use, to encourage maximum flexibility, interaction among employees. You have intranet, you have the email, you have the blogs, you have forums, discussion groups, you have distance learning. Technology, I don't have to be always to the meeting, because that's, if I work out in the northern suburbs and the meeting in Chicago, it takes me 3 hours. Even if I train, I'm non-productive. The more I could use technology and still talk and see everything else, it works out well for me. And then now the last one is the employee. participate in planning changes. Remember, as a manager, may make faster changes. That's what they make, maybe sometimes better decisions. But if I want to implement it, all these little things, I as a manager got the high level view. I may not be aware of the low level view, the day to day operation, for lack of a better word. And that's why I bring more people involved. How's it going to affect your life? How, remember, just like I can push it through, and it ruins more morale, or people have a high turnover because this doesn't make sense. The more I bring them in, I can see their objections, and I can basically develop my processes and my structure and my policies to minimize that. I'm not going to ever make everyone happy, but I can minimize the majority of objections, and people say, yes, this is the right course to take for the organization. And HR is the one to make sure that I'm always asking those hard questions, where some individuals may be intimidated because they're working for me and they want to look like they're not a team player, but they are. They just want to, they're very concerned. Okay, employees understand how their jobs contribute to the finished product or service. Ethical behaviors and encourage. When I look at ethical behavior, when I used to do a performance review for the organization, trying to find different ways of bringing the data, the results in. If you could touch it, massage it as a manager before you put it into the system, I wouldn't accept it. That's unethical behavior. Or your goals are so easy, you always get 100, 100, 100. Then that means your goals are too easy. I should stretch you, because I said, man, they always make it, they exceed their goals by 110%. Who puts these numbers in there? They're always above and beyond, so let's make it a little tighter so it is that challenge. Otherwise, if it's too easy, geez, why even show up? We're going to win anyway. That is not a motivating factor. That basically brings compliances, and it brings people into this. There's no effort in there. There's not a motivating. Okay. Now, this whole thing that I want to really stress is learning organization. And let me go into the learning organization. What's the definition? Look, if you're going to school, if a lot of people say, why do a lot of organizations require us to all have college? And I got all the experience. I know more than this guy coming out of the school or out of this training, because other viewers are looking at a learning organization. Does the organization, the management, the workforce have that knowledge, not only conceptual knowledge, but able to read prints, able to come out, think out of the box, get ideas that are out there. Remember, when you're at college, you're learning broad idea. Boy, I never thought I could use that application. That's a good idea. I don't know your business, but I'm giving you concepts, giving you some kind of a little way of looking at things that you might not have looked before. So, you know what I mean? So I'm learning. Remember, you take this class, you take another class, you take an online class. Every class, even says I take some class in my own discipline, marketing, management, and finance. I go in there and I say, I know all this stuff. I got my PhD. I'm always learning. Go with an open mind. Oh, I never thought about it. Or a refresher. Geez, I forgot about that. I should be more focused on that. Okay? So learning organization. The other thing's people. People are the ones who make the organization learn. Yeah, I got to encourage learning. Go to school. Get to another training. Keep up with your discipline. Doctors are always learning new technology. If I go to my doctor, I always mentioned that before, and he hasn't been in training since 1968. It's already 2014, going to 2015. I go, holy mackerel. He may still have the knowledge. Yes, you got this. How do I cure it? There may be other ways that be easier to cure it. It doesn't have to be medicine. It doesn't have to be cutting out my everything. It could be different ways or different kind of therapy, because he learned that, or she learned that by updating on the performance and going back to school. Open up the mind. Managers' active role in identifying needs. Remember, I as a manager say, hey, this guy's not, or this group is not doing well. Let's just give them more, raise the goals up. If they're not trained properly, hey, here's where you need a training. Go to HR. Could we find a training course? Real quickly, get them up and running. And they may not be the best, but at least they're on the right start, the right direction. Then the employee says, now I wish I could get to the goals, but I wish I knew how to use this computer. You all gave me all this. This tablet, I don't even have a smartphone. I got the old Cricket. I'm making up. You see what I'm talking about? So just because I give them the tools, the equipment, but not the training how to utilize them, it doesn't help anything to me. They're frustrated. They're not going to do it. Okay, and sharing ideas. You as a manager have to take the ideas. When you get the idea, even though it's a simple idea, go, man, I take that. I know how to build it, write it up, and submit it. I always put the individual's name on there. And they go, but my idea is only 2 sentences. You got 20 pages. Because I am in that position to know how to sell it, how to promote it, how the other parts fit. I'm at the middle manager at the conceptual stage. The employee is my hourly worker or my new manager, first line supervisor, or staff. They may not know that. just by me giving their name. Other people, how did you get your name of that product? As long as it's successful, they go, wow, I gave it to George. He did not backstab me. He gave me the credit due to me, and he added all that. Now I got other people. I get ideas, George. Some ideas I turn around. Not all ideas, but you have to take those ideas and show that person recognition. And in a meeting, I'm going, hey, Jackie, thank you very much for that idea. I took this, I ran out. The company likes it. We're going to be implementing this idea. It looks like a big profit thing. Going to increase our profit. And by the way, here's a $300 gift certificate just for coming up with the idea. It was a lot cheaper than you would have paid a consultant for $300 an hour. Listen, now it's I get more for my money. Okay, and the key features: continuous learning. You have to always stress continuous learning. No plateau. If there's things training, at least once a month, some kind of training that's always helping them be better. If they're a better trainer, better, more educated, they, in the long run, the company looks stronger, the employees are happy because I'm current and I'm using this and I'm always adjusting the old with the new. Critical systematic thinking, knowledge is shared, continuous learning, each employee and each group's ongoing effort to gather information. So every employee comes up with this. The other one is knowledge is shared, shift focus from training away from teaching skills toward focus on generating, sharing knowledge. So not to teach it, here's some information, here's the website, how could you use it? Oh geez, I never thought about that. I use a lot of stuff where I learn some software or some application, and I says, this is what they say, this is what we're using this for. I say, I could also use this in this application by just modifying. That is a continuous learner. That's a person taking knowledge, sharing it, and saying, I could adjust this a little bit, and I can make this process better by a little tweaking here and here. And then, wow, I didn't think about that. Yes, we could use that for a different application than what it was designed. Okay, critical thinking, systematic. Each employees are encouraged to see relationships among ideas. Occurs when they think in a new way. Remember, I come up with an idea, real there, how do I connect to that? It goes to customer service, it goes to engineering. And how does the idea grow? My little seed that was very little, you look at a mustard seed, you always take a mustard seed. Yeah, why do I always use a mustard? Very small. Big tree. A little idea could be posted. I think if you look at those you take in marketing, those ideas somebody needed it just to post it on, I think in their Bible or something. The guy was looking so he could take it on and off so he doesn't lose his place. And all of a sudden he came up with the idea not for that, and somebody said that's a good idea. And now all of a sudden you got posted on pens, everything else, because it comes on, comes off. I can write notes and I don't tear up the regular document. But the idea wasn't initiated. It was initiated for one purpose, for the individual wanted it, but somebody outside said, we could use that and sell that, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar operation, and everyone has them. Okay, learning culture. You have to learning. Learning is rewarded. Not that I'm going to school. I pay for your education. I get a promotion. I get a recognition. George just achieved his associate degree. George achieved his bachelor's degree, and then I get promoted. That's why you see the next level. What are they trying to do? When he said you got to have college for the next level, they're trying to force you to be a learning organization from the employees' perspective, and employees are valued. Recognize that all employees are a source of knowledge. Even if you don't go to school, you should have a system where you could come up with ideas, a suggestion box, or now it's electronic suggestion box. Focus on ensuring the development of well-being for each employee. Okay, so those are key features. Let's slide over on the other side. We're not doing too bad. Now, if I look at this one, and it's this one goes back. Human resource management practices on here. Let me just go in here. And I'll just go on here. Okay, human resource management practices, manages organizational goals, individual and work groups share the knowledge. Remember, here's the goal. How do we achieve it? Let's share it. How are we going to basically get to that ultimate goal, be the number one, so people look as a benchmark? Okay, organization, encourage continuous learning. It's not that I have someplace on my web, we are a continuous learner. The manager is going to say, hey, anyone going to school? Hey, we got some training here. Or submit it through the email. Well, if I give them a training, they're not going to be there. Okay, so some managers purposely keep their employees by not offering them any kind of training because they don't want to retrain a new person, so they keep them there. After a while, the person's going to be losing. Why am I not getting a job? Why am I stuck in this pay? You want them to know they're training, because they're I know they could leave, but a lot of things, the companies, like a continuous training, always they got some kind of workshop. They get to network. They meet people from different disciplines, different parts of the organization. Now I've got, don't look at network just training people away. They meet people from departments they never met before. They've got a contact. They got a face. Oh, I'm in accounting. Oh, I'm in sales. Oh, I'm in engineering, or I'm in construction, and they're in some kind of computer training that we all have to use a certain aspect, so we're giving an overview. Now I got a person that I can see how that affects him or her, or I got a name and a face that I met, and I can say, hey, remember we're at that seminar training here? Oh yeah, you're the guy who always wants the free food. No, I'm just kidding. Or the one who's always talking, okay? And now HR comes in. Now you redesign. You got new training. You know the different departments. That's where you have your cross-functional teams, and it permits flexibility where and when the tasks are performed. Your selection system is job-related and legal. Always legal. That's why HR is there. Make sure I'm not doing this anything illegal or discriminatory. Okay. Discipline system is progressive. Rewards the skill. So a lot of times if I go to new training, I have everyone, you could go the first time and I got some employees that are going to be resisting me, and you say, I'm just going to fail this. Okay, train you one time. Second time, if you don't pass it, you no longer can work for the organization because this is the new skill and ability. Now I've got the new skill. Also, the individual knows I got this skill. I could use it here if they don't keep me happy. I could go to my competitors and say, look, I've got that skill. And then the skill, if I have to take additional training, way additional, that's beyond for that, I should be compensated because I'm at a different level. I am certified at a lot of colleges since I got a PhD and I'm a contractor to the schools. Basically, I get a stipend or a little bit more because I had a PhD, because it looks good when students are coming in. Look, we've got most of our instructors at a college, or if I'm doing training in a workshop, oh, he's got a PhD, he's got a doctoral in management or international business or in marketing or in finance, whatever it is. So they're looking at, oh, he has a skill set, so he's already credible and he's going to teach us new knowledge. You see how that works? And I'm learning. So I should be rewarded a little bit higher. You get paid more if you got a contractor that comes in with a PhD versus someone that's got the... I'm not saying either one is just as good, but it looks like more that I got the education to back it, not just an idea or a process. Okay? Diverse workforce. Like it or not, my diverse workforce, people from China think differently than people from America, people from Mexico or Brazil or Iraq or Iran, what do you call Iran? You know, we're having a little bit more friendlier now. I could throw that in without getting too much trouble. You know what I'm talking about? It doesn't make a difference. You know, I'm not looking at the government. I'm talking to individuals. They're here, migrating to the United States. They're working here. They got a work visa for the company. They look at their knowledge. They come to get us, our knowledge, how we work in a diverse workforce. That's the strength American workers have. We could work with all different cultures, ideas, everything. You know, a little different how we may get along outside. Even outside we do. We all have our upside down. But overall, you could bring all diversity. Where in some cultures, they may not like each other because of the different caste system or the different religions background. Doesn't make a difference. Here, we all work together, and because of that, we are the most creative country in the world so far. Other people take our knowledge because we create come up with ideas, but we don't follow through because we're on a short term instead of the long term. So they'll pick it up for a price, and then next time go, hey, we came up with that, and we get some royalties, but they're making millions on that. So we got to move from the short term rewards more to a medium. You're never going to go to the long term right now. You don't jump from short term to long. You got to go progressive step. Same thing with learning organization. I've never had any kind of training or a formal training program or a retraining program. What happened, I got to start little at a time so people get used to going to school. Those who are coming back to school, you've been out of school for a while, you graduate, you come back, it's a whole new thing. Man, I got to remember, I got to study, I got to read so many words, I'm falling asleep. After a while, you see students, they know the instructor's going to ask this, they can pick up the key concepts because your brain is a muscle that's been utilized and trained. Okay? And the performance management system measures customer satisfaction. Like or not, if it wasn't for those customers, we wouldn't. They wouldn't need it. Okay, now the management system on this measures customer satisfaction. You got your customer surveys. You don't want to say sometimes they kind of lead you when you buy a car. Make sure you're going to get a survey. You're going to say George was all right. You send the survey out, and then a lot of times you send out when you first got the product. Send it out 6 months later. Are you still happy with the product as they were at the beginning? If not, what happened? Well, it worked good for 3 months. After 3 months, I got a 90-day guarantee. It defaults on it. I'll never buy this product again. You don't want that. Or I had an issue with this. I called customer service, and they basically were mean or obnoxious. One time, individual. Next time, another individual. After a while, I said, hey, I'm getting these surveys. My call centers are not neat. I start looking at that thing. This call's monitor. Start looking who's the problem. Because I get 1 or 2 that's got a problem, they're going to tell other members, don't call in. They're arrogant. They're no good. Or whatever. Okay, so remember, quality, Business goals, we're looking at performance, should influence your trading, should influence the kinds of employees selected and their trading requirements for each job. Measures used for evaluating results. Those are my business goals. I got goals, and my trading should say it's helping them achieve the goals better because of trade and they have the task. Just to trade them, and they never use the skill set just because I got a trading program and they don't. There's no way they could ever implement it because you don't give them the technology to do it. What good is the trading? Okay, this means, what does it mean? Organization identifies what each department must do to achieve the desired results, defines how the individual employee should contribute to the department goals. You have to let them know, here's after you have this training, here's after you get the software, here's what you should be able to do to achieve the goal. Now I understand, I connect the dots. And then the guidelines are basically define and measure, so your performance in precise terms, not subjective. Customer service can be a little subjective. But most of it, did he respond to thing? What did you like the policies? I could take away the objective from the subjective in there. Link performance measures to customer needs. Everything towards that customer. Measures and correct effective situational constraint. So what are some barriers that will fall in dealing with customers? It's not like one thing if I do a product and they come out, it either works or it doesn't work. How long, when they test the car running, how long the engine could run before it needs an oil change or whatever happened. Customer service is how do I greet the customer? How do I smile, talk to the customer? How do I take his objection? How do I say I can't, I'll have to pass it on to the next one? Not be afraid to turn to my manager because he says, oh, there's another one you're turning in, because I may just get all hard customers. Okay, HR technology, new technology, procedures and equipment. I got a new technology. How do I do policies to make sure they're trained and I got the right procedures, that they're not being abused, that have not previously been used? Look at an example. Right now, a lot of places don't have smoking. Same in the classroom. Some students will come in there and they got the e-cigarette. I'm not smoking, just steam. Might cut me off guard. We didn't have a policy. Hey, it's steam because it got aroma. It still affects other people because it got a different smell. You may get nauseated. You may not have secondhand smoke, but it got a different smell. But there should be a policy. No e-cigarettes at all because the steam coming out is a distractor. Not that it's polluting, not that it's secondhand smoke, but it's the steam to give you that effect. Turn the steam off. You're going to look and put it in your mouth as long as those steam's coming in. I guess that could be legal, but it's the whole thing of in and out, smoking. But that's a new technology and the policy hasn't caught up to it. Transition process, okay. Human resource management decisions and practices uses to review and document computations and calculations, all right, include basically document an employees' relocations, and this one's supposed to be not just ignore all, and training. Let me do it while I'm correcting it. Course enrollments and payroll expenses. All those are included, okay? So I got that transition. How do I pay them? How do I train them? So they understand after you finish this course, you'll get your raise from HR for completion, maybe 10 cents because you're at the next level. Now you're qualified to do that task, not only through experience, through on-hands, but also you pass the certification by the state requirement. And decisions with support designed to help managers solve problems include what if, just a statistical analysis from previous courses. What if this happens? And they'll give you a hypothetical result. Doesn't mean, you can never get it right, but it gives you a general idea that 30% will do well, 40% won't, like the system or not. Okay, then expert system are computer systems incorporating decision rules of people have expertise in the area. Remember, you still need the person to say yes or no, but they'll say, according to our calculation, I'm using the information from this as to help me make the decision. And that's coming out here. It's another tool, so I can look at the data out there. Oh, we got these. Oops, we better turn off this machine. It's got to overload. If you look at your car, when you got the dummy light that comes out, hot, don't drive another 5 miles. It means you got to pull over, let the engine cool off, because it already reached that point. You got very little time. Okay? And then relational database stored data in specific files that can be linked by common elements. Remember, these are technology. I got the data. If I'm looking at job performance, I got to pull out data. The numbers are there. They're just raw data. Doesn't mean nothing, but it knows which raw data to pull out to put this in together. I got this whole basket full of food, but what I'm going to do for the meal, I just need the bread. I need this. I need this. So it's all in here. Big warehouse, our pantry. I just pull the data as needed. Excuse me. And then the last one here Analyzing the effect. Okay, bottom line, dollars. Achieved the objective. Did I train so many people that could know how to move within the system and delivered the value in economic sense? So I have that. Dollar value, how much it costs of the programs, the benefits. Look, I got to spend all this time in training and I only get I don't get my return on investment. All this training and you only use it once a week. That's not a good. I don't need to have everyone trained. I may have one person when that one person calls in, one or two. So okay, yes sir, I understand that. That's a software issue that I'm not familiar with. It's one of those exceptional rules. I am aware of it. Let me train you, send you to the expert who is trained specifically on this issue. If it comes up, he will be able to, or she'll be able to help you. See, so all of them are trained just generically, but I don't spend that much training just to deal with the one issue there. I just got specialists in that field. Improve performance through a combination of greater efficiency and greater effectiveness. Like it or not, business technology employees are looking at effectiveness and efficiently. I can be very effective, get everything done, but how efficient am I? And also I'm looking at quality. Is there any kind of quality involved? Just I did it quickly. I finished everything else. My kids, I'm all done. It's sloppy. Look, you got paint all over. Oh, you didn't tell me that. You said I wanted this room painted in 2 hours. I painted it 2 hours. Oh, I want it clean, neatly, the colors, no paint all over. Oh, you want quality too. I want your time to utilize it, you utilize it effectively. I just don't paint the corners. Maybe I bring two individuals. One does all the trim work, and the other one does the bulk work. That's how you look at the processes, okay? So, a greater efficiency to perform functions, less costly with less resources. That's what technology helped me. Greater effectiveness has a more beneficial effect on employees and organizations' performance. So if I look at that, and if we did this, voila, what do you think? We're all finished. Let me just bring this back down so I could summarize. And I'll put that down at 150. So what we did here, we covered everything else. How do I create, the topic was creating and maintaining a high-performance organization. I'd rather use the topic, I may change this as learning organization. All this, tools, employees, processes, procedures, everything from HR makes me a learning organization. I can't be a learning organization. I don't give them any books, or I train them. Don't give them any technologies. Here, you're gonna learn how to drive a car. Remember, we went to the driver's ed. You drive a car. Okay, so I know how to all the buttons, but I gotta actually get behind the wheel to move and see that force. Even in a car, I'm just in the screen. I play the game. I've got kind of the skills until I go in driving a car is when I know it. So you're gonna need all of this. You need the work systems. I need elements of the system we talked about. The outcome, the biggest thing is the learning organization, that I take all this, processes, people, teams, everything else, I put it together. Now I'm an effective individual. When I come to see a client or anything else, I know here's an issue, I know how to resolve it, I know how to do it. Here's how I found it, this is something that doesn't happen. I put it back in the system and tell everyone, look out for this when they look at a spam or something's happened, or I got a virus, they notify everyone else, don't open up the mail, this email is corrupt, it has a virus, and it tells everyone else, oops, here it comes, delete. But it's a system that shares the knowledge, that gives me the training, that brings me up, brings my workforce, and I'm always learning new things. I never keep the status quo. Not major, little changes, little learning at a time, and I'm always evolving, adjusting to the environment, to the forces, and even though it may not affect me a little, it's raining hard, eventually I said, I better check my sump up, it's running all the time, I better put a battery back up or have something else, because it's not made for that long term of running. I'm just using examples out here. Everything you're doing makes you as a learning organization, and it starts from the employees and works up. Top management has to say, we want to learn, we come up with new ideas, we implement new ideas, customers give us ideas, we reward them, and all this gives us what we call a learning organization. If I'm a learning organization adjusting, I basically can adapt and I become a high performer, and that's how I start making profitability. Company grows, employees grows, everyone benefits, customers are happy. I'm in business for the next 2 or 3 centuries, 30 years. But it's still changing every time. Okay, so my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and this one is learning organizations, or creating, maintaining high-performance organization. And I'll see you in our next section. Bye.